tonight. So these in the Rebel Book Club world, these guys about to join are infamous, aren't they? BSG.
Big names on the team sheet.
Who's going to pop up first? Emily, push them out onto the stage. I know they're nervous, but they do want to be here. We've got whom are we expecting to see? Here we go.
We have Miles, Albie.
Come on, Albie, get out here. Oh, Yasmin!
I got one first.
How are you?
It's always good to be first on stage. Now, if you know any of these wonderful Rebel Book Club members, say hello to them in the chat. Say hello to them anyway if you want to, and give them a shout out. So, Yasmin, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. It's an honor.
Tell us a little bit about when you joined. When did you join Rebel Book Club? What book stood out for you, and any other good stories that you can remember?
Yes, so I joined, I think it was, hi Miles, I think it was right before the first birthday that I joined. I remember there was the big celebration at the Virgin office.
4 years!
Yeah, I've been around for 4 years, which is quite incredible because, yeah, when I stop and think, at the beginning, I remember every year, I just forget to add one more year when I tell people, yeah, I've been around for, and I kept like, at one point I was stuck at 3 years and then I was like, no, it's 4. It's been a while, but it's been great. Obviously I read a lot of books. It's hard to pick my favorite one really, because there's been so many good ones, but I would say if I had to pick one now, I'd probably pick one of the latest ones we've read, and that was the Lost Connections. I really enjoyed that one. I recommend it to so many of my friends. Everyone is reading that book. Yeah, I just found it really really useful, and I like this more scientific approach to the whole depression topic, which can often be a bit overwhelming and scary when we're trying to find out a bit more about it. But I really enjoyed the angle that the author took, and that was a great read and very insightful. So,
I remember, Yasmin, a story that you shared, which you're probably going to go, don't talk about this now in front of 200 plus people. But it was we read The Darknet, which was this amazing book about the underworld. Jamie Bartlett. It's right here behind me somewhere. Anyway, and we were sharing stories about how different identities in our own lives and stories about how we change. And you shared a story about you and your sister. This is the gist of the story I've got in my head. Getting abducted on a border somewhere in the Middle East, or having to change identities. But yeah, that was a great story, and we even had the author undercover that night.
That's true.
Verify that story.
Huh?
Is that a true story?
It's a true story. Do you want me to share it with all 214?
Whatever story you like. That or another quick story that related to I remember about you.
Well, that story is not that interesting. I was doing something illegal, so maybe I shouldn't share. But what I can share is another story. This is a story about someone that I met, but well, I guess when you asked us to share some interesting story from the last 5 years, 4 years for me, you asked to talk about someone that we met through the book club, someone meaningful. It's funny because the story I want to share is about a person that I did not meet through the book club, but somehow the book club has something to do with this. So it was actually a couple of years ago, and I was at a conference in Oxford, and it was that time of my life when I was looking for a career change, wanted to find a more meaningful job, and so I was like looking around for options. And I met this really cool woman at this conference in Oxford, and somehow we started speaking during the networking part of the evening, and we got along really well. And then we decided to meet up in London. And what I wanted to ask her when we met was to actually kind of become my mentor and help me figure out what I wanted to do with my life, because she was so cool. And one of the first things she did when we met at this cafe, it was, she took this book out of her bag and put it on the table. And I looked at it and I said, wow, this I'm reading this book right now. She's like, what? That's so random. And turns out she had just joined the book club a couple of months before. And so we kind of bonded over that. And since then, you know, she's been my mentor. She helped me figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And a few days later, she sent me a link to this job advert, suggesting that I should apply because it was perfect for me. And I ended up applying for the job, and I got the job, and I'm now working at the company thanks to this woman who's amazing. So,
this is great.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story, and obviously I'm really
give your mentor a quick shout out. What's her name?
Her name is Deepa. You know her, I think, Ben, but she's not here now.
Okay, but she can't. Is she still mentoring? Is she up for more mentorship?
Well, she's just a very nice person, so obviously.
And tell us very quickly the job you're doing.
Oh, I work at a social impact consultancy. So what we do is we advise charities, nonprofits on fundraising strategy. We work with philanthropists, foundations on their impact and impact measurement, and then we work with corporates as well on their social responsibility.
What's the name of the agency?
Huh?
What's the name of the social enterprise?
The company where I work, it's called IG Advisors.
Okay, that's it. The shout outs have happened. Thanks, Yasmin. BSG, who else we got in the original crew here?
Boom. I think Chris has come with the loudest shirt, but Miles officially got here just before. So we'll go Miles next. Miles, how you doing? What's the story? What's going on?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. And how are you 4 years, less than 4 years? I feel like you've been here.
No, my first meeting was the first birthday party.
Oh, so similar time.
Yeah, so I've fished like 4 years to the day.
Amazing. Well, we're very pleased to still have you here. And how about yourself? Has there been a particular book that stood the test of time from the ones that we've explored? And yeah, do you have a story as well to share?
Oh, I think some of the books that I've loved the most have been the ones where there's always been a really strong human connection, and it's told stories through that. Like In Order to Live was one where that really came through. The bad In Extremis as well, but then also the bad side as well, with like Bad Blood as well. And also I really like Gender Games, the Juno Dawson book. But I also had the pleasure of co-hosting that meetup, which was really fun.
Just amazing.
It's long list, strong list there.
Yeah, lots of good books. And how about a story that we don't know?
Oh. A story that you don't know. It's not really book club related, but I'm doing a fun fact thing with some clients, and this in a workshop tomorrow. And my fun fact for that was me and Bo, who is also a part of book club for other people. I don't think he's here tonight, but when we were sort of pre-pubescent teens, we set up a podcast when podcasts were lovely and fresh, doing the Unofficial Extras podcast, so the Ricky Gervais Show extras. So at 14 years old, I had a phone call from his lawyer when I was at school threatening to sue if we didn't take it down, and we actually got to number 2 on the iTunes chart.
Wow, a true rebel story.
A true rebel story.
Amazing. Well, thanks for sharing. Ahead of the curve there with the podcast game. Amazing. Albert's joined as well with another power show. I don't know what's going to happen next. Good to see you, Albert. But Chris beat you to the mark. We're great, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Chris, how's it going, my man?
I'm very good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. And how about yourself? I feel like you're a more recent addition to the extended family.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a child compared to what, like 18, 19 months ago. So yeah, 19 was my first book. So yeah, relatively young.
And how about yourself with a story? I've got a really vivid memory just come back when we read Elaine's book with the title escapes me, All the Ghosts in the Machine.
Do you know what a funny thing is? And we didn't even script this or anything. Is I actually was looking through my keep notes this weekend, and I found the obituary that we wrote, because we wrote obituaries to people. So I have actually still got it. But actually, the craziest thing about all that was Alex, who we were writing the obituary for. He actually works in an office a few floors above mine. Hey, Ava. So yeah, that was insane. But that was incredible. That was probably my favorite workshop exercise as well. so to speak.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think Chris was just breaking up. I remember really clearly. So Elaine, if Elaine's a Rebel Book Club member, we read her book, All the Ghosts in the Machine, a couple of summers ago about what happens to your data when you die, crazy stuff. And Elaine not only drunk 10 glasses of Prosecco and then did this epic rant about technology and privacy in the future, but also got all of us writing these eulogies for people in the room, which was a very weird but amazing experience. Nice one, Chris. Who else we got here, BSG? A couple more originals.
Albert, a real OG with an equally strong shirt. How are you, Albert?
Good to see you guys again. Haven't been in for a while. So good to be back for your 5th birthday.
How's it going? How many ultra marathons have you run since we last saw you?
Just one, a 5-day one in November. So it's a good excuse not to run at the moment. Like taking it easy, taking it chill. Yeah.
True. Enjoy the rest. And how about yourself? Is there a book that's kind of stuck with you from your experiences with us?
Yeah, for sure. I think I always go back to City of Lies by Ramita Navai. I think that was the moment in time where I thought we've made it as a book club. We had an Emmy Award-winning author, investigative journalist coming in to the meetup and talking to us, and I thought, wow, we're not just a small book club anymore. We've got substance. So I thought that book really stood out for me, and to this day, I think it's still one of my favorite books. It was very well written, and the meetup was great, right? So it was just really, really good.
Really powerful book. We'll have to collate all of these recommendations and put them together somewhere because loads of gold here. If you haven't already got enough books to read, lots more recommendations flying around. And how about yourself? Any stories that have stood out from your Rebel-related adventures?
Just a couple. I guess maybe Sahara was a great one. If people didn't know, you took us to Sahara, BSG, and that's where I met Ava actually as well, and a couple of other Rebel Book Club people. And so that was a moment in time where I felt RBC took me out to see the world, not just through books, but physically. And the other one would be probably, we haven't done this in a while, but we probably should again, The Dark Net with Jamie Bartlett when he was an undercover author. So, when he came in, but nobody knew that he was the author and he was just a participant asking about the book. And then we revealed to the rest of the readers that he was the author that night. That was pretty cool. I thought it was nice to see people talking about the book, without censoring themselves, and the author was there to listen and take it all in. So I thought that was quite a fun night.
Really cool. He's actually got an amazing podcast, if anyone hasn't listened, called Crypto Queen, which, he's gone on to do some super cool stuff. So, yeah, it was great that he could join us. And, as Albert mentioned, it was a few years ago now, but we did a mini version of this in the Sahara Desert in Morocco, which was awesome. And, I think once we revert back to some kind of normality, we'll have to arrange another Rebel-related trip.
We were off to
thank you for sharing.
In April, weren't we, a minute?
We were going to do something on a mountain in Spain and try and combine like a snowy mountain with a sunny beach in 48 hours. But sadly, timing wasn't meant to be on this occasion. But we go again next year, I'm sure.
Before we say we just have to, for those who don't know, he's known as Albert Nicholas, his name down here. He's got several names and identities. But Albie, as he's known to all of us, basically ran Rebel Book Club for about a year and a half. Ben and I would turn up for the event, but Albie, alongside somehow having a job, running ultramarathons, helping run a really cool charity called, remind me, Albie.
Unseen Tours.
Where people who are stuck on the streets help give guided tours of London. Amazing charity. Also ran the Rebel Book Club, managed the membership, helped organise the event. So
man of many talents.
Know this guy lots.
We love you.
Good to see you, Albie.
Good to see you guys. Yeah, for sure. Great to be back.
Hi everyone.
So was Sahara, I like that. You greeted everyone. Well, there was 220 people here, even though we can't see them all. So was your first memory of Rebel Book Clubs meeting Albert in the desert, or do you have other early memories?
No, way before. I think I came to the 3rd ever book club or something. I was going to come to the 1st, but I was, busy. But yeah, I was there right at the beginning where it was definitely very, very different to what it's grown to what it is today.
Yeah, what was the book? Come on, Ava.
I don't remember the book, honestly.
It was number 3. It was This Changes Everything by Naomi Klein. Really important book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
yes.
went to Futera with Ed Gillespie, which is a sustainability agency. It's like, climate crisis is coming. And that was 5 years ago. Yeah, it's definitely coming. Ava, thank you for supporting us over these years. What else stands out for you in terms of a good memory or book or something that's happened?
Yeah, I absolutely loved Atomic Habits. It's the book I think that I've probably put into use. You know, really, yeah, I have it here too. Yeah. really practical. Everyone needs to read this book. I really liked, okay, I still haven't finished it, but I really like this book by Seth Godin. I love the fact that we actually did a session with him, and he answered questions. That was amazing. One memory that sticks in my mind, I think it was the Silk Road, when we called the author and he popped out of a UN conference or something like that, just to speak to us. And it was a really small group of us, and we were like gathered around, I think, someone's phone, and we were asking him all these questions. And every time he answered, it was like mind blown, just like genius. And we're all like, we're all looking at each other like, oh my God, can you believe how privileged we are to be asking this guy questions? And he took his time away from the UN to come and answer this tiny little group of readers. So that was
Frankopan. That was a really good session, wasn't it? Because this is probably the biggest book we've attempted to read in terms of words and pages, and so it's quite a chunky book, but it's a great history book. Also, the New Silk Road, his follow-up book, is excellent about all roads lead to Beijing, where the future of power geopolitics is going. Thank you for reminding us of that, Ava. And give us a quick, if we could dive into any topic in Rebel Book Club, what would you like us to explore?
Productivity. I mean, going a bit back to our roots, productivity, of being able to make the most of ourselves, get us to the next level. That's what really, attracted me to Rebel Book Club. So we could go back to that. And we need another Sahara. Like Beyond Sahara was the most epic moment of Rebel Book Club. Like the image of like over 100 camels coming into, camp.
Guys, all this Sahara chat, people are like, where's my Sahara trip? We didn't. It wasn't.
We're gonna have to do it again, aren't we?
£15 a month membership. Rebel Book Club Originals, thank you for joining us tonight. Lovely to see you, Chris, Ava, Albie, Miles, and Yasmin. So lovely to see you.